less stress, more joy. And that's the peace, harmony, joy approach. And that book became the foundation of the Peace, Harmony, Joy Alliance. So many thanks to Scott Frank and Yossi Lerman on sharing that with us. So you can get the book online, you can read it, but today we're going to take a little twist. I, as Bob alluded to, am adding my own spin because my personal motto is it's better to have 10 experiences than the same experience 10 times. But that doesn't mean that's right for everyone. When I get tremendous peace from that and tremendous joy, I must say as well. But as we dig in a little deeper, we're going to find that each of us has our own definition of what peace means to us. So first, let me give you a little bit of the foundation, and this is from the book, and we've added to this information as well, so that we can personalize this to you and to the topic of workplace. So first, when we think about peace, that's what we're going to focus on today. It's really the opposite of stress. When we think of peace, we think of tranquility and calm. And we think of that within oneself, within one's family and the community, and sort of the world outside of ourselves. And what we mean by that is we consider our model that starts with us individually, the me part in the core, and that expands to us and all. So the peace, harmony, and joy that we create that within us. And it has an impact and influences people around us. That then has this ripple effect beyond friends and teams and really gets to the greater good. And that ripple effect ends up impacting community and the world at large, because we're all interconnected on this crazy sort of spider web of life in which we live. So when we think of the model, we think that all of the concepts start with us and then expand outwardly and exponentially to folks around us. So we have 4 intentions for the day. And we really feel strongly that this is not about us and our definition. We gave you that as a groundwork, but we believe that our key intention is for you to define what peace means to you. We have a 4-step process that may be helpful to you to help identify and create and prioritize more peace in your life, both at home, personal life, and work. We think it's important to make space for peace. Whether you eke those little things into your existing schedule, or you start with a blank sheet of paper and find ways to have peace in there, and then add your tasks and responsibilities. And finally, our 4th intention of the day is to help you design a peaceful environment so it can become a catalyst for more harmony and more joy, but the environment itself. And I left my screen as is, not as a different backdrop or not blurred, because I wanted to show you that some of my intention is my space has things that bring me peace and joy every day. And I'll get to that in a minute, a little more of that. So I want you to take a moment and let's just reset from wherever we were this morning. And take a deep breath in and breathe out. And with your second breath in, with your eyes open or closed, I'd like you to visualize a stressful situation in your life. And if you have paper and pencil handy, just jot a few notes about that stressful situation and acknowledge how that feels within your brain and within your body. Now let's take a reset breath. And I want you to think about an opposing thought, a thought that helps you visualize peace and calm and tranquility. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Breathe in, breathe out. Make a couple of notes on what that feels like, what it looks like, what's happening in your head and what's happening in your body. That's our starting point. So now we have a starting point on what peace means to us and a little bit of what that stress means to us. So I'd like you to take this one step further. We've put together this spider web. By the end of the week, connect some dots. But right now, I want you to think about what peace means to you. And we're going to find that in more detail in a minute, just based on what we provided to you and what you visualized. Where are you? How would you score yourself? 10 being the highest level of peace and 0 being high stress. What numeric score would you give yourself? Would you take a moment to jot that down? Where are you now when it comes to peace? Now, why make space for peace to begin with? Why is it so important? We're talking about something bigger than mindfulness and meditation and a lack of stress and calm. Peace is really a much bigger word. And I want you to open up your chat and think about why. Why is it even important for us to make space for peace in our lives, any part of our lives? And would you jot that down? Why is making space for peace important? What is its positive impact if you had more space and you had more peace in your life? Would you jot that in the chat? Without peace, I can't make good decisions. Haste makes waste. I operate much better with a space of peace. It allows for healing in a complex world. Helps me be happier and healthier. These are some of your comments. It allows me to make better decisions and enjoy more. To have clear vision for what's important in my life. For me, making space for peace helps me sleep. Because not only does it help me with moments of calm during the day, but getting that calmness back at the end of the day. There's quite a bit of research that supports this. The research is related to peace. And pardon me, my computer got stuck for a minute. And the research tells us that the importance of peace helps us with our mental health. And we know after the last 3 years how challenging that has been for many of us. when we haven't interacted in the way that we had, our relationships have changed. So we have a little bit more depression and anxiety. It helps our physical health, heck, our blood pressure, our immune system. It helps us, one of you said, better decision making. There's all kinds of research out of Stanford that tells us that when we have this sense of calmness, we can be more creative and innovative. It's almost as if we can clean out our brain and make space for new ideas and innovation. And I already mentioned to you the impact it has on me from sleep. Someone else added, my mind, body, and soul functions and responds better in situations because of peace, finding that peace. So I'd like you to spend a little time on yourself now. We gave you a definition of peace, but this is not your definition, just an idea, something that we shared in the book, but not necessarily something that is important to you. So what is peace to you? What is that definition? What does it look like? If you can think of 3 words to define peace in your life, what would those 3 words be? If you can, narrow down those 3 words into 1 word. If you were to select 1 word, you don't have to, I'm just challenging you. What does that mean? What is that word that means peace to you? And would you take a moment and put that in the chat, if you don't mind sharing with us? Calm in a storm. Calm, relaxed and clear. Centered. Flow. Reassurance. Clarity. Calm. Contentment. Heart-centered calm. Faith. Some of us say it's a lack of chaos. It's not having that stress. It's not having that pull. Content or contentment. You have just started this process of defining what peace means to you. And you can steal other people's ideas from the chat if those words seem to resonate with you more. Because those words and those sentences and those definitions can float to the top and be yours. Peace is a smile. Mental clarity and abundance comes with peace. Those are all really good contributions, and they should be ones, that calmness, that are just for you. But as I said, you can take those, steal those from other people and make it your own if it resonates with you. So what are those 4 steps of peace to help you add a little bit more? I call it ICPR. It's not just I should say we call it ICPR. And it is a little bit of this kind of CPR, because we're doing a little bit to get our heart pumping again. And that we're asking you to do through calm. So the 4-step process of ICPR is identify, create, prioritize, and repeat. How do you identify peace? This goes in your definition. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Are you alone? Are you with other people? Where are you? Take a moment to write some of these down, the what and the how and the who and the where. You may need to close your eyes and look in your mind's eye. Just raise your hand when you get to a comfortable stopping place of what it looks like and what it feels like to you. So for me, the best gift I ever got from my mother was a negative for her, but a positive for me. The negative for her is get out of my hair, go outside and play. That was a great gift. Anybody else have theirs finished? I don't want to rush you. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Where are you? Who are you with? Peace when you make it within yourself. Mindfulness, it feels relaxing, one with God and a state of awareness, stillness. So, as I was mentioning a minute ago, that go outside and play, I didn't know it as a kid, but as an adult, I know that that's part of my peace, to just be outside. Letting go, one of you said, letting go of trying to manage something that I realized that I cannot control. Wow, that's a big release. Being quiet and relaxed at home is one of your definitions, with family, smiling, resting, enjoying. I would challenge you to, after we wrap up today, to expand this definition. You can call it what you want. Maybe it's a vision statement. Maybe it's a peace statement. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What's happening in your body? How does your brain feel? Where are you? As I mentioned, I'm outside. Having some problems with my keyboard, so I appreciate your patience as I try to go back. So one of the things that I was alluding to a moment ago, thank you, by the way, is that some of us come to the idea of peace with negative or a positive focus. I'm just asking you to be aware of that. So did you come up with words that were calm and peaceful and tranquil, or did they have more of a negative spin of lack of stress or chaos? That is also true with when you think about expectations. There's a quote in the book that says expectations may be one of the biggest stress creators and negative impactors for inner peace. And I found that when I was a kid, I did that all the time. I created these high expectations and I got let down or I got stressed out when they didn't come around. I would now suggest that we look at things from a positive perspective and anticipate positive outcomes, and we'll get more positive results. That's the self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? When we have these negative thoughts and negative language, it can really increase our stress hormones. That's what we're trying to get out of our system. That cortisol gets us wound up. It triggers that fight or flight and freeze in our brain. It partially shuts down our logic centers, our executive thinking. When it comes to the brain, this is our old brain. This is our executive thinking and impulse control. Negative language gets us stuck where we can't think freely. Therefore, making that shift, and it can't be done overnight, but making that shift to more positive language can get that impulse control and a breadth of thinking in your brain just from being more positive, not Pollyanna positive, really making that part of your daily language and being over time. And it can even propel motivational centers of your brain so that more positive begets more positive. So we talked about identifying peace and where is it and how does it feel? That's the identification part. Now, how do you create more? Does it look different now that you've had a chance to add some extra definitions or add some words? Is it at the beach? Is it outside? Is it at home? I would say for fast acting relief, try slowing down. We know that wherever you are creating peace, it means slowing down a little bit. And I'll tell you a funny story about peace and slowing down. I'm a very fast walker. And one of the reasons on those few careers that Bob mentioned earlier, it seems like I was always working with men. I was in the auto business and energy business and finance business, and I traveled with them quite a bit. And as you might imagine, at 5'2", most of the people around me were taller than me. So I learned to keep up. I learned to walk fast. Well, in thinking about peace and mindfulness, I wanted to slow down. And so I tried incorporating that into my walks, and I walk frequently. And lo and behold, I'd speed up again. My pace would speed up. So I'm challenging myself to say, how do I make it happen? How did I challenge myself? And one of the things that worked for me is you can separate your body from your thinking. So my slowing down did not happen with my walk. My slowing down happened with my thinking. And when I added a real mindfulness element of looking at all around me, whether if you're at home and not outside, appreciating things like my little man that my dad gave me when I went off to college, or if you're outside, insects and birds and trees, those kinds of things can help slow you down, even if your body is moving forward and moving fast. So I created, in that example, I created space in a way that I already incorporated it into what I was doing. And for me, that was walking. But there are 3 ways that people often can create more space. One of them is they can write. Some people are visual and kinesthetic, and they need to take a journal or just write things down. I am very much motivated by writing things down. Part of it is memory, but part of it is to get things out. And that means getting some of that negativity out and that stress out so that I have time, and maybe even on that separate page, to have elements of peace. Some of us need to just get out and physically burn off some of this energy we have so we can get to some dopamine and oxytocin that comes from exercising. We need to get out there, burn off some of that energy to calm. And others can be on a couch with a book or walk the beach or walk a park. So which element strikes you most? That writing things down, that burning off some of that energy to find peace, or just getting in that zone with your book in your favorite chair or outside? Jot that down on your notes, which one you seem to connect with most. And I'm going to go back for just a second. Once you realize how you create it by writing some things down, getting that space, you can prioritize it. And you can do so by defining some of your obstacles. So what are those things that are holding us back? Let me ask you, and how come there isn't more peace right now in your day-to-day lives? Would you jot that down? And Bob, would you read those aloud when they come into the chat? Someone mentioned, yes, being in the moment and looking for things to appreciate or be grateful for, rather than spending more time fixing problems and worry about past or future. Remembering that I'm okay right now and I can slow down. One person has obstacles that are so many to-do items, too many to-do items. Last week, one of my obstacles was a granddaughter, 21-month-old with strong opinions. I had to create peace in different ways and prioritize my peace in different ways. For some folks, it's social media, politics, wars, much more news. Many of us have reduced the amount of news we read or reduced the feeds that we have coming into our email or social media, because that becomes an obstacle, that negativity, that polarization. The whole reason we have a National Week of Conversation is bridging some of these. An obstacle is worrying about the future. And I would add to that other things that we can't control, but want to. Can we reduce stressors? Cluttered spaces in my home. Those are definitely stressors. One of my sayings is stuff is responsibility and responsibility is stress. And so therefore, I always have a box for giving away, getting that out. Self-talk, always needing to do more. Yeah. Not making time, hooked on social media and news due to anxiety about our country and the world. So there are a few things in here about items that we can't control. And those might be the items that you jot down so that you can move them away from your head and onto a journal, a book, a piece of paper. And that may give you the space to add in the peace. If you look at your to-do lists and tasks, can you force a little bit of time to get peace? Can you rewrite your whole list of tasks so you can put some priority in with peace? Or again, start with a clean sheet of paper, start with peace, and then add in your tasks. This visual to me is the whole push and pull of stress, stimuli, and peace all in one. So if you really take a look at it, I look at that, the chaos on the left side. That just to me is stressful and ominous. I cannot control that. In fact, most of this I can't control. But in the center, if you're a surfer, that is the stimuli where you can ride the wave, whether all the way or get a part of it. And where that surfer is now on that far right side, that's peace. We're going to have all of this all the time around us. It's more like a fulcrum, like a seesaw, and constant adjustments are needed. And if we realize that something like balance may not be realistic, when we compare that to driving a car, we're always subtly adjusting the steering wheel. We're not just staying straight, even if we have cruise control on. And life is like that on the fulcrum. There's some adjustments that need to be raised, need to be adjusted all the time. Well, as I mentioned, I was having some challenges with my keyboard, and I apologize for that because I have a couple of keyboards here and the chat seems to throw it off. So thanks again. So the push and pull of stress on the left, the stimuli, that can be really energizing. And then peace all in this one picture. But we need to engage our brain and body, even when we're on that fulcrum that's making constant adjustments. We need to make adjustments during the day. And we need to make sure that we acknowledge what our current status is, what's happening in our brain, what's happening in our body. Anybody knows the somatic response? Think about somatic responses. So our brain is thinking all the time. And sometimes we feel that in our body. So when we have anxiety and get stressed out, that's in us. And we need to be aware of that so that we might sit back and put our shoulders down and just take a moment to breathe so we can calm and engage our brain and body, but get them back in sync. Maybe you need to call recess on yourself so that it's time to take a walk and get that reset really done and out of the way. Well, we've identified, we've created some space, we've prioritized it, move it up on the list, and now we repeat. So I would say I challenge you in the next few days, think about where you have peaceful moments, how you have tried to noodle in a few extra moments in the day, how you've gone for a walk or sat down to breathe or sit with that book and find the calmness so that you can continue to do what's right, that maybe you'll find out other obstacles. I find that sometimes the TV's on in one room, and that's an obstacle for me. I have to go to a different room. That's easy for me to change. Do you have obstacles like that you can move to the side, things that you can delegate or just take off your list completely or have an easy solution? And it's constantly looking for new opportunities to create this space for peace. If you don't create the space, it's just not going to happen magically. And it means going back to refine what your definition of peace is to you. What does it feel like? What's it going on in your brain? Where are you? Do you have peaceful things around you, as I alluded to earlier? So I have pictures. You can see above my head antique skis. Part of repeating peace for me is I love to ski and I love snow and I love being outdoors. And this is a reminder for me to repeat a moment of peace, even if it's in my brain and not my body. And I have orchids. I always have orchids. Normally, they're blooming inconsistently, but I have probably 10 or 12 orchids. And at any given time, one of them is blooming. So I bring it into my office or I move it around house because that helps me repeat that, taking a moment and just looking at that orchid. It's a mnemonic almost for me, a mnemonic memory device for me to say, calm down, take a moment and really look at the beauty of that orchid. And once we have that peace within us, that we've created it and prioritized it and repeated it, I find that through our discussions on peace, harmony, and joy, and talking with Yossi and Scott, that they treat others with more peace and grace and dignity. I suggest finding a peace partner. I have a neighbor that we go out to breakfast almost every week on Wednesdays. Not all the time, but 3 weeks out of the month. And one of the things we do is we're peace partners. Now, that's not everything, but we do talk a little bit about how we've done a good job or what we needed to do more of, how we find peace, harmony, and joy in our lives and share ideas with each other. Maybe you need a peace partner. You'll find that over time, you'll be more thoughtful with your words and actions. Your judgment will go down because you'll get to a point where you'll find that everybody has a story. You'll move things aside that you can't control, and you will be more intentional with yourself, but also with your relationships, and be more caring and understanding. And that's that second part of the model. That's peace with us. When you have it within, then it grows to others. And then exponentially, it goes to peace with all, because that ripple effect and that smile lifts you up and opens you up to others. And your language becomes more positive. And you may even be kinder with the planet and the world around you. That's what we mean about our vision and our mission to have more peace on earth and to amplify and awaken it in ourselves and others. It means me, us, and all, and the ripple effect. If you would join me, I'd appreciate it, in a guided meditation. I would suggest, for the moment, turn off your camera. You can open your eyes or close your eyes. I'm just going to walk you through a little journey. Get comfortable sitting or standing. Take a deep breath in and out through your mouth. That's resetting your brain and body. Do that a few times. And visualize yourself walking along a bank of a river or a lake. Long river, a wide river, and a beautiful large lake with trees all around it. As you're walking, you feel pebbles under your feet and hear them crunch. lean over and pick up one of those pebbles and hold it in your hand. Is it rough? Is it smooth? Just acknowledge it. Turn towards the water, the lake or the river, and look at the stillness of the surface. Maybe there's a reflection. Maybe there's a little light. Maybe there's wildlife. After a bit, take that rock in your hand and toss it in the water. Hear the plunk as it starts dropping down to the bottom. And look at that area where you threw the rock. There's a circle there from that plunk. Follow the expanding circles as the ripples expand the concentric circles around where you threw that rock in. They grow wider and wider across the stillness of the water surface. The sun starts coming up over the trees and blinds you for a moment, and you turn your head and cover your eyes because it's so bright. And you glance back at the river and you see the circles wider and wider. And you take a moment to breathe in the peace of that moment and realize your brain and body are in sync. And when you can, come back to the group. I'd love for you to join us with your camera. I suspect you feel a little different now than you did earlier. Would you write a few words in chat? It doesn't have to be long, to the feeling you're left with after walking along that river or that lake, after tossing in that stone. Would you jot that in the chat? Bob, would you read the chat for us, please?
Sure. Inner peace and calm, serenity, relaxed, calm, and peaceful. Slowed down, relaxed, sweet hum, gentleness, gratitude, calm in the moment.
Exactly. And may we all sleep in peace when the day it's done. That's what I mean. Thanks to Nina Simone for that one. And we know that wherever we were before, what number we associated with that, many of us would like that number to be higher. You don't have to share this, but where would you like to be? Can you increase that by one number or two? Moving some of that chaos and stress out of the day, moving some of those obstacles away, moving some of that desire for control away. And jot down what you'd like that number to be. And know that we are here for you at Peace, Harmony, Joy Alliance. And you can simply take your phone and get to the QR code and get to our website. We have articles and videos and more information for you. Hopefully you've gotten a couple of gems to incorporate into your life. On Thursday, we're going to talk about harmony with self and harmony with others. And on Friday, we're going to talk about joy. But today, focus on peace and getting more peace in your life. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. If you have any thoughts or questions, we'll be here for another couple minutes. You can either unmute yourself or add it to the chat. Bob has added the registration for Thursday and Friday. I appreciate someone mentioned they moved up 1 or 2 notches higher today. A number's increasing. Somebody registered for all of them. Yay. I look forward to seeing you all, and tell your friends for harmony and joy later this week. And do check out the National Week of Conversation and many of the programs they have, including one from our friends, Diane and Alan Collins, talking about quantum think. You can get that through our website. Thanks so much, all. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Jane,
you.
Bob. Much appreciated. Lovely session.
Great
Thank
job.
you so much.
Delightful.
There were a couple questions I saw.
Great.
What is the Zoom call tomorrow? There is, I believe Alan's call is tomorrow.
Okay.
And that is also available on the events page of the website. It is focused on listening, listening from not knowing. And that's a part of Alan and Diane Collins' program on Quantum Think. So we invite you to join us for a special session on listening, probably listening in a different way than you've ever experienced it before.
Also, just to give you a bit of information about the Peace, Harmony, and Joy Alliance. Remember, we talked about the book, and you've obviously participated in one of our sessions. The Alliance itself has 3 prongs. One is training others so we can get the message of peace, harmony, and joy to a wider audience and have that ripple effect. The other is to partner with cities that want to bring more peace, harmony, and joy into their own communities. And the third area is to bring this idea of peace on earth to the greater good so that we have that exponential increase of a lack of negativity, a positiveness of peace, harmony, and joy, removing polarizations and negativity. And we are constantly looking to partner also with companies and organizations to bring this message to their employees and their teams so that within organizations, they can have a peace, harmony, and joy culture as well. So we hope your company and organization joins us, or your community does, or you do. Thanks so much. I hope that provides you with a little more information. Okay.
Thank you.
And Scott Frank, I'll offer up your closing thoughts as we close. Scott was one of the founders of PHJA.
Sure. Well, first off, great job, Jane and Bob. Thanks for putting this on. And, this is a lot of years in the making. Thanks everybody who joined us today. we're so excited to share what we've learned, and we're just, I would say, at the beginning of our journey. I think there's so much more to learn, and so all your thoughts, all your energy is important to help us get to this peaceful planet that we're so much believing is going to happen in the foreseeable future. But it starts again with each of us. If you don't have peace in yourself, peace, harmony, enjoying yourself, it's hard to have it with others, hard to have it in the world. And so hopefully you felt it today. Hopefully you felt something, moving in that positive direction. I like to say that it's not everything going to happen in one day or in 1 week or 1 month. I mean, it's a journey, and if we can get a little better with ourselves each day and a little better with the people in our lives each day, and everybody can do that on this planet, you can start to see how this planet can transform. And so that's what we're about. And there's a billion ways to have peace, harmony, and joy. We share with you some of the ways that we have found that work. The big point is we encourage you to concentrate on these 3 elements in your life. Try to find as much peace, harmony, and joy in every day. Again, within yourself, with others around you. You will see that's transformative to the experience that you have as a human being. And there's many people that have joined our journey and are feeling much different about themselves and the people around them. And the fact is, I don't know that anything in their circumstances has really changed except for the way that they observe them and the way that they participate in them. And so we have a lot of control, a lot of opportunity to live the lives that we truly want, our truly best lives, the lives that we were created to have. And just encourage everybody to look at themselves and to think about, what they truly want out of life, and know that there's also lots of other books, lots of other approaches, but we all have the ability to have many, many peace, harmony, and joy moments every day. And I would like to believe to have peace, harmony, and joy almost every minute of every day, which is my goal, and everybody around me. So just encourage everybody to continue on this journey with us. I think it's so beautiful that National Week of Conversation has given us this platform. Again, 4 different days. We're going to be talking about different ways to experience this. And, I will just also say, if you've got any questions, anything we can do to help you, Peace, Harmony, and Joy Alliance, our website is peaceharmonyandjoy.org. And you can send us something there if you want to put something in the chat. However, just know that we are all here to help. We're all in this together. And I can't thank you enough for participating and helping to make this world a better place.
Thanks, everyone. See you later in the week.
Thank you, guys. See you, Scott.